We're now well over 4,000 days into this world and have 4 districts thousands of blocks apart from each other, jammed with factories, transport, storage, and more. And now it's time to make a start on district number 5. Nope, stop that. So far, we've focused on wood products in Timberholm with our giant tree farm, stone products in Stone Valley Peaks, producing everything from cobble to limestone, basic building resources, anything shiny, a dockyard, and a whole distribution centre at Viridium Shores, as well as main storage plus a few basic farms over at our starter area, Beardstone Valley. And this whole time, whenever I've needed food, I've been coming back here, I've been heading over to my little farmhouse, I've been grabbing the veg that this tiny little farm makes, doing a spot of cooking in the kitchen here, and pretty much just surviving on ratatouille. And as much as I enjoy coming over here and cooking every now and then, sometimes I just really don't want to. So we're going to be constructing a whole new district that's going to be focused on food. So that means food production, such as meat and crops, other resources that we're going to be able to get from animals, such as the wool, we really need a wool farm, and automating as many of these farmers' delight meals as we see fit. But we're also going to need to transport those items to our distribution centre, and that's where the planes are going to come in. So they're a little bit further down the line, but I'm very much looking forward to that. But with all this in mind, that means we have a bunch of tasks to do today. First off, we need to scout a new location. Then we need a new train station and road network to connect to the new area. We need a bus of some kind to get from the new station to the new location. And of course, we're going to need a bus stop at the new location. And we're also going to need a phantom farm to make all this work, so that's going to be fun. But the first thing we need to do is actually find a location, because so far we've built in a savanna biome, we've built in a jungle, and we've built in a dark oak forest. And I think for a food and farming district, it kind of makes sense to have a nice plains area. Somewhere where I don't have to chop down trees for a week beforehand. So, we don't really have much plains uncovered, do we? Now, I know there is a big plains over here because, of course, our map did reset when we put it onto a server, so we have actually been out here. We know there's a mesa, there's a desert, and there are some plains. I wonder if there's somewhere a bit closer, maybe over here. I mean, that looks like jungle, and this looks like birch forest, but I wonder what's beyond here. So I think that's where we're going to start our search, but we should probably grab our airship as well, because, well, when we get there, we're going to want to put that down. And if you're fairly new to the series, you may not know that this airship is actually my portable storage and workshop contraption. It's attached to a minecart assembler down here, and that means we can pick it up and move it whenever we go somewhere else. However, I have got so much stuff stored in here, we have to do a couple of things before we can actually move it. So I have this backpack here, it's just a small one, it's an empty one, but what we're going to do is basically just take down a lot of these boxes, chuck them all in here, and more importantly, we're going to make sure we remove this waystone, otherwise things are going to get a bit weird if we try to teleport there. And we're going to chuck that inside as well. But hopefully I've removed enough data from this contraption, so to speak, from everything that was stored, I should just be able to pick it up now. And this thing has been here for months, literally about 3 months, I think. So, yeah, first time this is moving in a while. So let's do a redstone torch. And, oh, it's spinning. Oh no, I didn't remove the lava again. It's fine, let's just grab this, grab all of this stuff, and, yeah, let's go deal with the lava. I swear I spill this lava every single time, but at least I didn't kill a monkey this time. No, 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 no! This area is going to look really weird without the airship, but let's chuck that in there alongside that and those. And before we set off adventuring, I'm going to grab myself more lava and water, just so we don't run out of jetpack juice, because this could take quite a while. We've probably got a long flight ahead of us. And as much as I do love this area, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited to go with somewhere that's got a few more frames. We've got a lot of machines here now, and the frames are getting a little bit janky. Let's grab some lava. We are all stocked up on fuel. Let's grab our grappling whisk. And I guess, let's go on an adventure. Oh, it's been a while since we've had an adventure. Well, I think it'll make sense to toggle our mini-map back on for this, so we can actually see a little bit more of what's going on. Well, I've explored a huge area and I think I've made a decision. And that is this area over here. I think that's going to work quite well for our farm. We're going to have plenty of space for an airfield. It should be good. And it's reasonably flat already as well. So let's quickly head back in that direction and see where that is in relation to our current train track, because we're going to need to go build a station just so the passengers can actually get off at that point, and then we need to connect a road all the way to the new area. This is going to be a lot of digging and a lot of road planning. And yep, this is it. This is going to be our new home. And we've even got a village next door. That's nice. But first things first, let's get the airship set up. And we'll just do that and that and that. There we go. And we're just going to chuck all these back in. It doesn't really matter where they go because I never remember where anything is anyway. And then we'll get the Beardstone back down. And there we go. The airship is prepped. We can see our land. Now let's see where we need to connect. And I guess the most direct route is straight through here. But I have no idea what's lurking underneath here. So let's go find out, shall we? Well, I guess it's not looking too bad. This is our new area here. I think what we can probably do is have a tunnel through the mountain, have a little bit here, and basically just connect a road all the way through. And I have a choice. I can either go direct and build a bridge or two, or we can kind of follow the coastline, which may be better. I don't know. We'll see how we feel once we get started. But that means we need to put a station around here somewhere. So let's go take a look here and see what we're dealing with. Well, we're dealing with more dark oak, but that's not too much of a problem, I guess. We can clear out an area around here, stick a station in, and then have the road go off in that direction. And as tempting as it is to bust out the drill and just completely flatten this entire area in one, that's exactly what I'm going to do. You thought I said I was going to cut it all down manually. Don't be silly. Let's just stick a temporary waystone down here and call it station, or station. Yeah, there we go, station. And go grab our drill, which is this one right here. Now, I think what I'm going to do is just chuck this down around here somewhere. Ah, that's close. Jeez. But if we stick that in there, 100% definitely lock rotation, stick that down. We should be good to go. Oh, it would help if I powered the rest of the rail. And it would also help if there was actually some rail and some redstone torches in there. Yep, I'm pro at this. Right, off you go. And that should do for now. Let's just take out a little bit more on this side as well. I think that should be a big enough area. We've got all the way from here back to there, and we've gone back a reasonable amount, I guess. But it looks an absolute mess. So I'm just going to get all this tidied up. We'll sort out the terrain around the edges as well, and just probably mark out where the start of the road's going to be, I guess. But if I can get all this looking a lot tidier, it's going to be much easier for me to picture how the station's going to look. And look at that, health and safety are here already. I've barely even done anything. An hour or so later, we've got a much nicer area to be working in. I've marked out where the road's going to go and just sort of made a little start on that. But more importantly, we've now got space down here to put a station. What I don't have is any blocks to actually build it with. And to be honest, I think we only need a small station like this one here. I mean, we'll probably make it a little bit longer so the whole train can get in, but I don't think we need to add too much to it. It can be quite a plain platform. This is basically just out in the middle of nowhere. But instead of making it all nice with the quartz and stuff like this, I think we might make it look a little bit more wooden. So with that in mind, let's take lots of spruce, take some dark oak fences for the bottom bit, and then maybe some dark oak for the back area. So we'll see how this looks, and if it's awful, then we'll just swap it out for something better. Now, the first thing we're going to do is deal with the raised part of the platform at the front here. And I think platform lengthwise, that should be pretty good. And there's a train for measurement. Good stuff. I mean, that was an extremely small train, but I think it'll be fine. Next question is, what planks do I want at the front here? Do we want these? I mean, they look quite funky. They're very textured. Or maybe something a bit simpler like that. And on the main part of the platform, we're going to be using these. So let's just see how that all sort of pairs together. And why is there glue there? Get rid of that. I can only assume that's been left over from my drill contraption for some reason. So what are we thinking? Maybe let's go with this combo for now. And we're going to be replacing this bit under here with gravel, and I don't think I want to be seeing grass behind there. But I've got an idea. Let's maybe just stick a bit of oak behind it. And yeah, I think that works. That looks much better. Then for the back and the sides and the detaily bits, I was thinking maybe using some dark oak. Let's see how this pans out. Then at the back here, maybe we can use a combination of oak fences and fence gates. I think this could work, but Maybe let's lower all of this bit here by a block. Feels a little bit too intrusive at the moment. Yeah, I definitely think that's going to work better for a smaller station. Let's sort out some lighting. But my thinking is once we've got one section of the station here looking how we want, then we can just sort out the rest. So for lighting, I wonder, maybe we can do something like this. Use some copycat panels at the top here. Not sold on that. Let's maybe try some stripped dark oak wood. We'll use a slab in the middle instead, then put the copycat panels in, get the lights on. I think that almost works, but maybe let's replace this pole. Keep the girder at the bottom, but maybe we should use some framed fences here instead and keep the whole pole sort of metallic. Let's maybe get a little bit of seating in. I think we're just going to use stone benches over here. We'll stick another light here, and then we'll see how it's looking. All right, I think I'm starting to like it. It's simple but effective. If we just mix in a little bit of texture down here, have some worn out areas in the woods, maybe a few stripped logs as well, potentially. Maybe one last thing it needs is just a topper on these corners. I don't really like the way we can see the log there. Yep, I like that. That's going to work nicely. So I'm just going to sort out the rest of this platform, and then we can figure out where to put the ticket office and a little waiting room and stuff like that. All right, looking good. I've sorted out this half of the platform. I've got a few sort of bins and flower box type things in, which I think break it up quite nicely and add a splash of colour. But what I want to do over here is sort of an entrance way. I want to have a ticket office and then maybe a sheltered seating area behind it. And I have no idea how I'm going to achieve that. So let's just start placing blocks and see what happens. Small bit of trial and error, and I think I'm happy. Ah, geez, train. A small bit of trial and error, and I think I'm happy with that. But what I want to do now is convert this side into a ticket office. So first up, let's get some walls in. Then we'll stick a roof on. We'll use some spruce wood along the bottom here. And maybe some brown mushroom blocks, because they were in my inventory. But maybe it'll work. Let's have a little look. It doesn't. That does not work at all. And nothing to worry about. I have another plan, which is to try this brick bonded oak. But let's also replace the bottom here with some oak logs. No, that's going. Or maybe just need to stick with what we built the rest of the platform out of, potentially. That looks too dark. I will eventually find the right combo. Okay, I think I've figured it out. We've used dark oak at the bottom. We've used some of the oak and the brick bonded stuff at the top here, which I think works quite nicely, although maybe we need a bit more texture on this side. That's looking pretty good so far. And I was going to put a sheltered area over here for more seating, but I think I'm just going to do something similar to that. I think it'll balance it a little bit nicer. Progress is being made. We have a station. It looks fairly basic, but that's pretty much exactly what we wanted here. It is just a station out in the middle of nowhere after all. And in fact, here comes the train now. It's not going to stop, but lengthwise, yeah, it looks about right. What I need to do now, though, is sort out the rest of the terrain, tidy up the track, and figure out how we're going to do the sort of bus drop-off point over here. It's time for a terraforming time-lapse. I definitely got that on the first take. Well, I think this is starting to look pretty good. It looks a little bit like a station that doesn't get used very much, which is exactly what we wanted. Got a little dirt car park off to the side. We've got plenty of space for the bus to come in, and we've got a bus stop that is terrible, really, if I'm perfectly honest. Look, I know it doesn't look great, but it's fine. And round on this side of the station, I've sorted out all the track down the bottom here, and I've even added the sign there and set the schedule for the train that's going to be stopping. So with that, I think we're pretty much done in this area. Now we've just got a small road to do. And little did I know, but I'd soon come to regret saying that, because I proceeded to spend the next 12 hours of my life across 2 separate days making a giant road. There was lots of tree chopping, there was terraforming, I had to lay down a track as well so I could get the mining train, but that meant I could actually dig out my tunnels, which was lovely. We've got loads of places where we still need to add bridges, but for now I just kind of put dirt across all of them. And then I made even more windy roads, going across cliffs, cutting down trees, making my own cliffs, and eventually we made it to the new area. That took forever. It's now Thursday, and this video was supposed to go out on Wednesday, so yeah, sorry about that. But these things take time, and I've still got a lot of work to do, because all I've done is basically laid the track the entire distance. If we actually have a look at that big windy road that we've had to make. We're in a straight line, that's 2,000 blocks, but we've actually laid about 4,000 pieces of track. So yeah, a 4,000 block road, and it nearly all needs detailing still. We actually ran out of track at one point as well, so I did stay up for a few nights and made sure to kill some phantoms, make some new track. And as you can see, I've got a few stacks left over, but we're definitely going to need that Phantom Farm if we're going to be getting planes in here. But what I need to do for now is return this train. So let's turn it round, we'll take it for a drive, and I'll show you the routes. And as we drive down this route, you can see just how much work we've done, but also how much we've still got to do. I've got numerous bridges that I need to put in, I've got tunnels I need to decorate, and we've got a whole lot of road to sort out. And I have sped this up, of course, so apologies if it's a bit janky here and there. Now we're back at the station. What I do need to do is get all of this bit here connected up so the bus can actually sort of pull in and do its thing. And so I can get this train back on the main track. So we'll have a track go to there for the bus stop, to here so it can reverse, and then we'll just get that connected up again as well, and we should be good. Hopefully, if I pull this train onto one of these tracks, I should be able to get it back on the main line. Now, I just need to take this home and offload it, then we can come back and discuss our next steps. Uh-oh. Dang it, every time. This much rail, I'll still always find a train to crash into. Oh, jeez. Now we've got more phantoms too, but to be honest, I need your membrane. Come here. So let's check our list. So far, we've found a location, we've built a station and road network to connect it, so I guess now we need a bus. And we're going to be sticking with the kind of 50s theme we've got, I think, so we're going to build a bit of an old school bus. So I guess for now, let's just chuck down a station, get it out of the way, go to create new train, and make a start. And because this time we're not actually using underground rail, I guess what I'm going to need to do is select the invisible bogie. That way we won't have any wheels on show. And now I need to figure out how to attach a bus to this thing. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is remove all the rail that we don't need, so we can just get rid of all this. And to be honest, if I'm going to build a bus, I should probably get some stuff to build it with. And colour-wise, I'm thinking maybe light blue would look quite good. We're going to want loads of framed blocks, and I want this bus to be usable, so we need very thin walls. Let's take these panels, as well as a bunch of other framed blocks, just so we're prepared. We're going to need some glass, but I'm thinking probably just the plain glass is going to be best for this. And I reckon that should be enough to get us started. So this point here is where the bus is going to be turning from, and I think I want that sort of slightly forward of the back. So if that's going to be the back of the bus, front will probably be about there. I'm not sure that's going to be big enough. So let's maybe go another block forward with the front wheels, build up a frame. I think that sort of size should work. That's going to be very annoying on the inside of the bus though, but whatever. Not really much we can do about that. We'll just have to work around it. Now let's build up the frame a little bit. Then we're going to make some of these funky blocks, because I think these are going to come in quite handy for the kind of theme we're going for. Although that's not the right block. Let's just stick the light blue concrete in for now. Then we're going to use these wall boards on the bottom here, just to build up the sort of side panels. But we're going to want a door somewhere, so maybe there. And then I'm going to put in some light blue panels for the top of the bus, just to give it a little bit of texture. Leave some space for windows. I'll do the same on this side. So next up, let's get some glass in. How do we want to do this? Because I guess we're going to want to use the panels again here. Maybe we can use some panes to sort of curve it off a little bit. But I'm liking the shape so far. I think it's coming together. Now we need to figure out the roof, I guess. So maybe something like this. And I wonder if these are going to work to give it a nice curve. I mean, I'm not sold on the colour, but I quite like the shape. Let's just replace everything with the actual concrete for now, and we'll sort that out later. And at the back here, if we do this, we can put glass in these and then fill it in with slabs. Maybe we'll use a slightly bigger thing at the front there, because we do need to put a bus number on it. Shape-wise, though, I think that's looking pretty old school. I just need to figure out what I want to do about the colour. I mean, maybe we could just have a band that sort of runs through the middle, potentially. Still doesn't look right, does it? But we'll come back to that, because I need to figure out how this inside bit's going to work. Wish me luck. Well, it may not be perfect, but to be honest with you, I think I've done all right with that. The only sort of bit you can see through is if you're sitting in the back here, but that's fine. And at the front here, we've got train controls going in both directions, so the bus can, of course, reverse. And I've even added an andesite door, so it'll open when the bus pulls up. On the outside here, I've decided just to use a different variant of the light blue concrete. I think that works quite well. But we've still got a few more details to put on, as you can see. I need to sort out the back. We need to get some license plates on, some lights, and, of course, a bus number. So let's see how we get on with that. And there we go. Beard Bus 1, I think, is pretty much complete. Let's just close the door. Oh, and on the inside, I did actually decide to add a second bogie, because I've realised it's not going to get round a lot of these tight corners if I don't, so it might look a little bit like it's drifting now and then. But I'd much rather that than have it driving through the floor and walls on certain corners. Now all that's left to do is to get it all stuck together. Let's just replace this rail, and then let's take it for a spin. Look at that. And to be honest, the turning's actually not too bad. Now let's set up a couple of stations. Let's hide the first one down here. That is currently a bus stop to nowhere, which, by the way, is actually just what I've called this area in the meantime. If you do have a name that's, well, not too many characters because it needs to fit on there, and please do let me know in the comments. You know I like to have you folks name stuff when I can. And we're going to need another station over here for the reverse. So I think what we're actually going to have the bus do when it arrives here is we'll have it go this way first, and then we'll have it reverse up to this one here, and then that's where the doors will open, people can get on the bus. And then we'll have it leave out this way. Now we have a bus and we have a bus stop over here. We need to sort something out for the other end. And this is where things might get a little bit messy temporarily. But in order to put a station over there, we need to drive over there. So let's take a trip. Weird, I've got a raccoon tail. Anyway, so what I need to do over here is, well, eventually I do need to build a bus stop. For now, I just kind of need a loop just so it can go back. And one of the things I do want to do in this area that we didn't do in the last one very well is plan for the future. And I know I'm going to be having stuff driving around here, so we're actually going to be building a platform that's above the current terrain, just so we've actually already got a hollowed out flat area so we can do all of our move aroundy bits. And we'll probably actually turn this part of the river into a bit more of a canal. So we've got a bit more control over it. It'll have some more steep walls on the side as opposed to just gently going into the river. And although initially it's just going to be a giant flat platform, we will of course put some terrain on it. This is farmland after all. We don't want it all to be flat. We want it to look interesting, but we're still going to have to make a start with it being flat, I think. But now though, let's just get a bus stop in. And once again, I think just giving somewhere for the bus to reverse is going to be the best bet. So that should just about do it. We've got the main bus stop here. We've got the reverse one over there. And what I've actually also done is I've put stations here for the entrance and the exit. Because what that means, if we have a little look at our schedule here, when it leaves the nowhere station, it will then up its speed to 90%. And then when it gets to here, it will reduce it back down to 15. And that means it will travel nice and fast in between the bus stops, but when it pulls into each of these areas where it's going to be dropping off and turning around at either end, hopefully it'll go a little bit slower. Now we just need to find ourselves a willing participant. You look like a bus driver. Let's put you in there. Let's make sure it's going to go to the right station. Okay, so it's dropping off its passengers, doing its thing. Let's actually take a ride and see if we get where we're supposed to. So it should now go 90% speed all the way back. Hopefully, it should now go into a lower speed at this point. Oh, maybe a little bit too low, but it is at least following the path it's supposed to, which is nice. So let's quickly adjust these. Let's maybe set it to 25, so it's a bit quicker. There you go, sir. Carry on. But it's looking like this is going to work quite well. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that road trip, and I hope you did too. If only the road looked a little bit nicer. But we'll probably get that road sorted in between episodes. For now, I need to build myself a phantom farm. It doesn't need to be anything permanent, but just something to get us some phantoms in the meantime. And speaking of phantoms, hello buddy. So, phantom farms. I have absolutely no idea how to build them, but I'm sure someone on YouTube does. One quick visit to YouTube later, and I've got a farm that we're gonna build. And it's this one here by Shulker Craft. It looks fairly straightforward, and to be honest, I'm hoping I can just build it here, stick it on a contraption, and then we can just move it to wherever we need it. We are, of course, going to have to remove and replace the water each time we do that, but that's not a problem. I don't see us needing this farm too often. So if you want to know how to build this farm, do go check out the link in the description, but I'm just going to quickly get this built, and then we'll go test it out, I guess. And just like that, the farm is ready. But if we want to turn this into a contraption, there is one slight problem. Well, in fact, there's two. The first one is the water. We can't actually pack it up with the water in, so we're going to have to remove that. And the second problem is going to be when I try to glue this. You'll see how it goes yellow there? That's because this top section here isn't actually connected to the bottom section. And this pole here is also not attached to anything, but we can easily solve that because if we just put temporary blocks in these corners, now it's all connected, so we're all good. So let's just glue all this together. So hopefully we've got everything. Let's just test it out. So we'll put down one of those, one of these. We'll just lock rotation so it doesn't start spinning. Chuck down a minecart and then give it a redstone torch. And hopefully we can just grab all of that. Oh, almost. We missed a bit. Let's try that again. There we go. Much better. And it looks like it's about to start getting dark, so let's go test this out. I should probably make sure all of these gates are open as well. Okay. And then we just get inside like this, stand on the trapdoor, and then when the sun goes down, we should start harvesting phantoms, hopefully. Let's see how many we can get in one night. Well, for some reason, they're not getting trapped in the water. Maybe I've missed something. Yep, I totally have. I forgot to put all these iron bars on. That's why they're escaping. Let's try that again. Well, the sun's come up, and I will say it wasn't the best first night. We managed to get 15 phantom membrane, but then I didn't actually build the farm correctly. I tried to quickly fix it by putting these bars in, but what I've actually done is put this glass here in the wrong place. It all needs to be a block in. So let's quickly make a few tweaks here. So we actually need the glass on the inside here. Then we have the bars in, and that should trap them a lot better. By which I mean, that should actually trap them so they don't just fly out straight away. But instead of taking this down and doing something while we wait for the next night, I'm gonna go make myself a cup of tea, and I'll see you in just a moment. We'll see how the next night goes. Yep, it definitely works better. Well, it turns out if you build the farm correctly, it's a lot more effective. On the second night there, we've managed to get another 43. 43 in one night. That's a lot of phantom membrane. So I think what I'm going to do is stand here for another couple of nights, get some more membrane, and that means I'm going to be prepared in the future. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now. And I have a feeling we're going to be building a whole lot of bridges.